Welcome back to the Tampa Bay Rowdies Podcast. It was an eventful week at Al Lang Stadium. 2 games, Wednesday night versus Louisville, Saturday night. We had the big win against Rhode Island. But before we dive into all things Tampa Bay Rowdies on the field, we are joined once again by Jake Nutting. Jake, thank you for coming back.
Of course.
And we just got to kick this off the right way. I think it's something that Rowdies fans are going to be happy about. And I just want to ask you, so I can stop introducing you as welcome back, Jake Nutting, for stepping in. Will you co-host this bad boy with me, get us through the rest of the season, and we could keep this thing moving?
I think I'm up to the task. I hope that Rowdies fans are going to be excited about that. It's been a while since I've been on a mic consistently, but shaking the rust off and getting used to it. But yeah, looking forward to it.
You're sounding great, man. And we've gotten good reviews from everybody, so it's a great addition. Thank you for joining, and I think that it's going to be a good thing moving forward as we continue to dive in all things Tampa Bay Rowdies. So we talked about an eventful week last week. Let's start with Louisville. Because for me, I think that the Louisville game is actually going to go a really long way for this group when you talk about their first taste of elimination soccer, right? We've spent so much time talking to different players on this podcast, and if you've been following along with the story of this team, there are guys that have played together for different teams. They've come together from different groups, all those different things. So it's a master plan, if you have, that's the best term, I guess, from Dominic Cassiato to put this team together, right? We can call it the master plan.
Yeah.
Master plan works. So
like it.
He put this team together, but this is the first taste that they really had of elimination style soccer. And where the team sits right now, you have to expect that there's going to be playoffs in this group's future.
Well, sure.
So to get that type of experience under their belt against a team like Louisville, who has a little bit more experience, that group's been together a little bit more long, and especially for them to come into Al Lang and play the way that they did, I think that that's going to be a taste of kind of what teams are going to be looking to do when they come to Al Lang Stadium in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's one of those things you just can't replicate on the training ground. You can't even replicate it or get the same feeling in regular season. It's just one of those things, like, you have to face off against a team knowing that it's win or go home. And I think, like you said, it's going to be a great lesson for this group to learn together what it's like in those moments, how they can lean on each other and learn from an overall a good performance. Just came up a little short in penalties, which can happen to anybody in the cup competition.
Yeah, it's a great equalizer. The penalty kicks were the great equalizer, and I felt like their goalkeeper actually played extremely well. He had a couple big saves, and I think the main thing that, especially for this group to learn, is that there's been a lot of moments throughout this season where it was like, oh, you miss a chance here, or you have a giveaway here, and you give up a goal, and you can make up for it pretty quickly with like the way that you're able to respond. But when you play in those elimination games, it's like the 1v1 opportunities that you miss. Maybe those bad passes that you have a little bit of a misclearance and it lands on another player's foot. Those are the types of moments in those elimination games that could just mean everything. There was a chance early in the game where the goalkeeper had a good save on Cruz, where in my mind, if Cruz puts that into the back of the net, that game's going to open up and then it becomes a little bit more free-flowing. But because the goalkeeper is able to make the save, it keeps things tight. Everybody's playing on their nerves a little bit more. Right. And then I felt like in the second half, there was a couple substitutions. I think Pedro came in and Marco came in right at halftime, and they started to push the game a little bit more to open it up. But for me, I think that it's a great learning experience, and it's almost better that let me rephrase this. It's not good that they lost.
No.
Right? It's not good that they lost. No.
We never like that.
No, you want to win everything. You want to win every game. They want to win every game. But from somebody that's looking at it from a different perspective of, I want to win USL Cup, like I want to win the whole thing, and I want to see what this group is capable of doing when the games get really fun in October, I just think it's a good experience for them to lose that type of game. And I felt like they came out, and Louisville came out a little bit different as well than what we're used to seeing in the regular season.
Yeah.
I just think it's a really good experience for this group to get a taste of it, to lose it, and then also realize, like, hey, like, come playoff time, like, come these types of games, like, we can't be afraid to be the aggressor. We can't be afraid to step out. We can't be afraid to take risks and play that type of style, because that's what's gotten them this far. And just because this game means a little bit more, there's elimination on the line, doesn't mean you need to change the way or change your approach to the game when you're talking about on the field.
Yeah, I think what's gotten this team through this season and the top of the table so far is just that attitude that you just mentioned. Like, they play fearless, like aggressive, front-footed football, and like that's what 11 points top of the league right now. So that's what you have to consistently bring every week, and then hopefully to carry into the playoffs.
And especially too, like, if you're going to go down, you want to go down swinging. And I felt like it took the Rowdies a little bit of time to figure it out. And again, like, no excuses for the group. I'm just saying this based off of experiences that I've had. It's a lot to travel to California the weekend before.
You lose 3 hours coming back home.
Lose 3 hours. And then not to mention, you're playing that game 10 p.m. Eastern time. So you're playing that game a little bit later, and it's an emotional game, first place in the West versus first place in the East. They go on the road, they win that game, and then they come back, and then you just have 2 days to prepare for a cup elimination game that there's going to be tired legs, there's going to be energy, there's going to be a different vibe around that when you're talking about the travel and things like that.
Not to add another excuse, but we did lose Sebastian Cruz for the last 10, 12, 15 minutes of that game against Louisville. What happens if we have all 11 men on the pitch for that final 15 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of factors in that game, and I think that at the end of the day, you want to win it, and of course you want to advance in the tournament. But for this group, with what they have in front of them for league play, with what they have in front of them in terms of the playoffs and what they can clinch, I mean, it's early. I understand that it's early, but we're not that far off from being able to say, like, hey, like the Eastern Conference is going to run through the Tampa Bay Rowdies if things keep going the way that they are going in terms of getting games at Al Lang Stadium. So there's just a lot of things in front of this group where if you are going to lose in a tournament, I used to always say this with the Open Cup. It's like you don't really care about the Open Cup until you get to the quarterfinals or the semifinals and you get to those elimination games, and then all of a sudden you care a whole lot. Sure. But like at the end of the day, like we lost an Open Cup one year in the finals, and it was like you look back at it, it's like, yeah, that was fun, but we added X amount of games to our bodies. We went through this whole emotional range of things where we ended up losing in the finals anyway. And you look back at it, you're kind of like, you know what? Like if I knew that we were going to lose this game, I would have rather lost in group play because it's just like get it out of the way. You know what I mean? So I think that there's a little bit of that involved in this game as well, which I think it's going to benefit the team in the long run. Yeah,
I mean, silver lining. I mean, obviously, I would be happy to work another 3-match week if it meant we were in the in contention for a trophy. But the rest of the regular season, it's Saturday the rest of the way. There's no more midweek games for the team, so they can have full weeks to prepare, full week to rest and recover in between matches. And with our lead at the top of the table at the moment, I think that's a great thing to carry into the playoffs.
And especially, too, when you're talking about you get into the flow. Like, now the team can get into a flow. They can get back to the schedule of training where it's like, hey, we know on Tuesdays it's going to be like this, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, boom, game.
No more being kicked out of your training facility for a couple months.
Right. So everything's about to, chill out a little bit for the Rowdies.
Love you, Cape Verde.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We love you, Cape Verde, but, we are having our facility as well. Wrexham, too. We love you guys, and, please use our facility. Come rent our facility. But it's nice for the guys to be able to settle in and get a little bit more of a routine. The one thing that I kind of loved, but I also really hated at the end of the game, and I think that it adds to the spice of the rivalry, was after Louisville was able to win, there was a lot of trash talking going on between Louisville and our fans, just showing off their jerseys, showing off the badge. So you could tell the passion that was behind it. I said this on the broadcast, and I'll say it again, and I highly doubt that anyone from Louisville listens to this, so it doesn't really matter. The one problem that I had with that was that the kick guy was the first guy down there, talking crap to the fans. That rubbed me. I haven't been angry over anything going on with the Rowdies or any situation, especially in the booth, because you're kind of you gotta keep your calm and you're just supposed to be somewhat neutral. That made me so irrationally angry that I was sitting in the booth and I'm just staring at this kick guy. And I'm like, man, I hope we can finish this. I hope we can wrap up this broadcast in time for me to get down to the kick guy and be like, bro, keep it together.
Yeah. I didn't even notice. I saw the comments after the game, but I didn't notice that in the moment because I was just I'm busy updating things for people and doing all my duties. But after the comments, I was like, did that really happen? It's I've seen it a few times in moments like that where the traveling staff get carried away and get part of the celebration, but I've never seen a kit man or anyone at that level. No offense to kit men, we love them; they're an important part of the game. But just have a little, sense, a little maybe
a little couth, just something a little decorum, knowing your role.
Goalkeeper, celebrate all you want, taunt the fans all you want. Kit
yes,
man, what did?
And the kit guy, seriously, the kit guy was the first person to go over to the fans and start doing the badge and talking all this crap. I was in the booth. You could ask Drew. I was stewing. I was sitting there. I'm I was literally talking to Tom on the mic, and I'm how long is it going to take to get this closed down? How long is it going to take? Because I was ready to come from the booth and just go up to that guy and be listen, bro, that's not it. You are not the person that should be leading the charge for this trash talking. Let the players on the field do that. That's cool. I don't know. That didn't sit me. That really rubbed me the wrong way. That's the first time I've been mad.
Imagine if I did that in my job, running from midfield to go celebrate in front of the traveling fans or the home fans or something like that. Imagine if I did that.
I mean, and he was there so fast. He was just there so fast that it was just dude, I don't know. That rubbed me the wrong way. But I mean, give Louisville credit. it was a game I felt like they probably really had to have based off of the game that they had, when we beat them 5-4. Let's give them credit. I thought they came in here and played a good game. They had a good game plan. They changed things up. Like, they really didn't do the things that they did in the last game. So I think that they had a good game plan coming into it. And at the end of the day, they won in penalties, which, if your goalkeeper makes a save, that's what happens. But then fast forward to the weekend, and Rhode Island, a team that had been a thorn in the side of the Tampa Bay Rowdies for a long time. Like, we really hadn't had much success against that club. And we mixed up the lineup a little bit. Conway gets a start. Attinella gets the start. We brought in Conner Antley. He played in the outside center back. We're going to be talking to him afterwards. I think that'll be fun for a lot of Rowdies fans. I know a lot of Rowdies fans are fired up to have him back. Ethan Bartlow, our other player that we brought in on loan, he steps in. He gets to start his first appearance for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And for me, I felt like that was one of the most complete performances that the Rowdies have had this season. And that's saying a lot based off of the success that they've had.
Yeah, I would say that it's funny you say that because before that Rhode Island game, I would have maybe said the league game before that in Orange County was arguably the most complete performance. So two really totally complete performances in bookending disappointing result in midweek. So it's like I think it's great that the team didn't have any letdown going into that Rhode Island game against the team that had they'd gone winless against 4 straight times. Very tough team. Like they're good.
Yeah, they have a lot of talent on that team. They're a good team.
I think Conor Smith is very good at recruiting players up in Rhode Island. Like, I mean, they won the league their first year, so not too bad there. And they're just always competitive. They're always physical, athletic, and like they're right now fighting to get into the top 4 of the Eastern Conference to get a home playoff game. So they wanted that game badly, but the Rowdies didn't let them have it.
Yeah, and there was a couple opportunities. I think Jamali, he got his 250th save, which was a big deal. Saved it off. He says he saved it off his hand, then his face, but it looked like it got a lot of face. So it was like a good way to earn.
It counts.
Yeah. Oh, of course it counts. Absolutely. My nose is crooked because it counts. So like I think that's a really good way to earn your 250th save is like really just putting your body on the line. But that was a big moment in the game where, you look back at that game, and that was really one of Rhode Island's biggest chances where if they score that, you might be looking at a completely different situation. But, Jamali, he's been up to the task when called upon this season. I mean, our defense has done a really good job of eliminating a lot of shots.
I had a question for you about Jamali, though. Like, it's one of these things, like, I don't think he gets enough credit for it. And keepers in general don't get enough credit for it, is the way they manage crosses coming into the box and just, like, control their area. Like, I think Jamali's been fantastic in that way this year. Like, the way our defense plays, he doesn't get a lot of shots on goal, so he doesn't have to make a ton of saves. But, like, just the way, like, so many teams in this league try to score off crosses and service into the box, and Jamali's just always commanding in that box. I don't know how you feel about it.
No, he's huge at that. And I used to think as a goalkeeper, like, of course, like, goalkeepers at this level, everybody can make a save.
Yeah.
Like, making a save is, like, the bare minimum of what you need to do as a goalkeeper.
I could do that.
Yeah, like, you could run...
When I played.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like, we had YouTube videos with, like, guys that never played before that they could run themselves into a save if they wanted to run themselves into a save every now and then. So I think that making saves is kind of like the bare minimum. Like, you want to have a goalkeeper that can pick the ball out of a corner, get you out of a tight spot, or, if it's one of those games where you're just getting shelled, like, you need to have a goalkeeper that's able to steal a game with saves. But for me, especially the way that the Rowdies play, the way that Jamali has just like eliminated opportunities for the other team to get chances.
Yep.
Because like that's part of being a goalkeeper as well. It's like, you know what, if I can come out and cut out this through ball before it gets to a breakaway.
So good at that.
If I can come out and grab this cross so that like my center backs don't have to head the ball. That goes a long way, one, for the goalkeeper eliminating the shots he has against them, but it also goes such a long way. The center backs love you. Yeah. If you come out for crosses and you're good in your box and these center backs know that like I have a goalkeeper that can come and get this ball and all I have to do is shield off my forward to give him a little bit of space, center backs will love you because they don't want to be doing that all game long. And to your point, he's done a really good job of that. And I think that he has extremely good hands. Like, I know that that's like, oh, goalkeepers are all supposed to have good hands. But, like, he doesn't really come out and punch. Like, he comes out and catches, which is, like, it slows the game down. There were a couple moments throughout the course of the week where he tried to start a counterattack a couple times where maybe the touch came off a little bit or, like, there were 1v1 situations where he caught the ball off a cross, played it long off of his foot, and then, like, if it was a better touch or a little bit of better control on the receiving end, the person would have been in. So those are the types of things that go a massive way for goalkeeping, and that's kind of where you start to see, like, okay, this guy can make saves, but he can also control his box, and he also can slow the flow of the game down. Like, he just has, like, that calm demeanor and complete control about him, which I think we've seen pretty much throughout the course of the season, outside maybe a couple games.
Yeah, there's just so many ways the goalkeeper can influence the game outside of just the saves, which is what everyone looks at after the game. How many saves do they make? But, like, Jamali has impacted so many performances in positive ways just outside of making saves.
Right, and it's like, and some of the reasons too, like to your point, it's like there are a lot of games where they didn't have any shots, but it's like if Jamali doesn't come off of his line and close down and like gather up a through ball, if he doesn't come off of his line and pick that cross, like those are shots that are going to happen that the goalkeeper himself eliminates the opportunity to happen. So it's a great point in that he's been really steady at that. And the way that the Rowdies defense plays, like they give up crosses. Like they don't mind giving up crosses as much as like, you know, they do a good job eliminating what's going on in front of them. And they do a good job of forcing the ball wide, especially the way that we like to get our wingbacks forward. So you need a goalkeeper that's good with crosses because that's what you're going to be dealing with. And then to your point, I think he's been really up to the task with that.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't mean to derail this and make this goalkeeper love fest.
No, listen, Jake, make it a goalkeeper love fest. We could have a goalkeeper love fest all day. That's fine. But then, so obviously, like 0-0 going into halftime, and going into halftime, I was like, this is a very evenly matched game. Like I felt like both teams had chances. Both teams were also going for it. Yeah. Like neither team was afraid to get the ball forward and really like stretch themselves a little bit. So I felt like it was for a 0-0 game. I felt like it was a pretty evenly matched 0-0 game where teams were getting chances on both sides. But then, you know, the game started to open up a little bit, and then that's when Conner Antley, his first goal ever for a Tampa Bay Rowdy.
Yeah, it's so funny. It became like a thing when he was back here back in the day. Just he had so many assists, and he was creating chances for so many other people. But whenever he had the chance to get a shot on goal, save, or just misses wide, it's like then comes back 3 appearances after coming back on loan, immediately scores.
And no one was saving that. That was a rip. So if you didn't see it, he gets the ball on the right side, cuts it back, defender sliding, strokes it with his left foot, side netting. And that was just a great moment because I felt like the fans showed up, like the fans were engaged, like there was a good atmosphere. And anytime that you're able to score on the side that like Rouse Bob and Skyway Casuals are, things just like ramp up like times 10 in that stadium. So it was like perfect timing in terms of getting the fans fired up and like getting really engaged with what was going on the field.
Yeah, perfect time in the game too. Like right at the hour mark, you really need something just to. Because if you get past that hour mark without a goal, it kind of feels like, okay, maybe we're just going to ride this out to a draw or something like that. But no, you want to close this out, make sure you get 3 points with Charleston and Detroit both dropping points that night. So important to just finish things off.
Yeah, he did a good job with that as well. I am curious. I will ask him a little bit about he made that run from center back. That's a precarious situation for your center back to be that high in the box. Usually, if
he loves going forward.
Yeah, usually if a center back's going to score, it's off of a cross from like a free kick or like a corner kick or something where you're in the box. But that was in a live run of play where he found himself on the edge of the 6-yard box and absolutely stroked it in.
Great pass from Dion.
Yeah, and Dion, I mean, he does such a good job of getting himself forward and getting involved in the attack that you're going to get a lot of that from him every time that he's on the field. But then from there, I mean, I really thought that the Rowdies did a good job of kind of squeezing the game and not giving Rhode Island many chances. I don't know that they had another chance after that. And it was funny in the booth, Drew was asking around like the 72nd, 73rd minute mark. He was like, at what point do the Rowdies start to like play a little bit more defensive? And I'm like, I don't think they do because
that's not their game.
No, and you want to end the game. You want to end the game with another goal. Like you don't want to be the team that's like maybe if it gets to like the 87th, 88th minute, and then you're just kind of like, okay, cool. Like now we got to defend with our lives. But instead, you know, they kept playing. They kept it open. There was a couple other chances, and then honestly, I mean the second goal, the exclamation mark, was across the board from start to finish, just an absolute moment of brilliance. That was an awesome goal.
Maybe an assist of the year for Russell.
I was freaking out about the assist. Like when he played that ball initially, like I hadn't seen Louis run and hit it yet, but like when he initially scooped that ball, I was like, oh, that's creative.
It's like schoolyard stuff.
Yeah, like that's tricky because he had. So it's a bit of a junk play where I'm sure everybody's seen it. So I'm just recapping the goal, but like it was a bit of a junk play where like the ball almost goes out of bounds. Like Nate Dos Santos is over there. There's a couple other guys over there. Like Rhode Island players on the field. Somehow the ball pops out to Russ, and then he's driving at that back line. There's 4 or 5 defenders around him, so he couldn't get like his cutback shot off. And then just his vision to recognize that I have to scoop this ball. Like it was like a legit like scoop. It wasn't a pass. It was a scoop. So his recognition to scoop the ball over the defenders into the space where Luis Perez is sitting there waiting, and then Perez's patience to let that ball come across to his non-preferred right foot so that he could hit it at the right time so that a one-time shot's not going to sky into the crowd. And he just absolutely stroked it and buried it. So it was a moment of just like pure brilliance. One from Cicerone, the recognition, and then also just the mindset that like I'm going to scoop this ball like into this area where Perez is sitting. And then for Perez to let that ball come across his body and just one-time volley the way that he did, I felt like it was the perfect exclamation mark on a week that you have to remember, like the week started in Orange County. Like the week started in Orange County with those 3 points. You drop that midweek game. You wonder if there's going to be any type of hangover. They mix the lineup up a little bit. They bring on some big dogs towards the end of the game. And then for them to end that game with a 2-0 win and that type of exclamation mark once again in front of the fans, I think that it's starting to get a little bit more of a buzz around Al Lang Stadium where it's like, hey, this team's legit. And like they score bangers, they play good soccer, they could defend really well. So I feel like that buzz that we've known for a while internally, it's really starting to pick up, and I think it's starting to get around town that the Tampa Bay Rowdies are very legit and have a good shot at making a run at this thing this year.
Yeah, speaking of the bangers, I mean, one banger after another with this team, and I think now we're 38 goals in the season, second in the league, so climbing up that leaderboard. I mean, the first half of the year was all about defense. Now we're really starting to pick up things on the attacking side. It's going to be hard at the end of this season to pick out a goal of the year for this team, though.
Yeah,
I was trying to think about that yesterday. I don't know where I fall. Maybe Russ's first goal against Louisville a couple weeks ago, but
that was a banger.
That was a really. I mean, like, have like Marco's like halfway line goal, like
So where how does it work? How does it work? You know the USL better than I do. Like, are we allowed? Is there a maximum submission per team? Because I feel like we have like 3 or 4 candidates so far.
I don't know if there's any hard and fast rules about it. I imagine they'll try to spread the love around when it comes to the end of the year in terms of voting for goal of the year, but. I don't know. I think if we don't have 2 on the list.
Yeah, we got to have at least 2. I mean, Marco's will be on there just because it was from half field.
Yeah.
But then you talk about Cicerone's, and then you talk about the one that we just had against Louis Perez, and I'm sure we're missing some from earlier in the year because like this
Sebastian Cruz against Loudon home.
That was from distance.
That was the first banger of the year.
Yeah.
That was like a whoa.
We need to compile. We're going to have Santi. We need to make a note of this where Santi needs to just compile the bangers and just like make one of those carousel. I can never say that word. Carousel. I can't say that word. Make one of those posts where it's just like banger,
after another.
Yeah. Maybe we should make shirts that just say bangers, Rowdies, bangers. So, yeah, I mean, it was a good 2-0 win, 3 points in the Eastern Conference against a team that was creeping up a little bit in the standings, and just a very solid performance. And it was a really challenging week. Obviously, you want to get that midweek win. Like, it would have been great to get all 3 wins out of the way. But at the same time, like I said, I think that there's something special about letting this team focus on the challenge that's ahead of them, which is, 1, winning the league, trying to get first place in the league, and then whatever the playoffs are going to have in store. Because I think that the way the Eastern Conference is shaking up, there's going to be some good teams in there. And I think it's going to be a really competitive Eastern Conference playoff when you're looking at the teams and where the seeding is and the way that's going to jockey out. But, of course, like for us, for everybody involved in this area, if it has to go through Al Lang Stadium, that's just going to make for a special October, potentially a very special October, November.
Potentially, yeah. It reminds me back in the day of 2021 when we had the Players' Shield that year and clinched home field throughout the playoffs. Nice night, every night, Saturday into October.
Not as hot.
Not as hot, no. It was a bit of a blur for the front office staff to have to host 4 straight playoff games, but it was fun nonetheless, and the fans enjoyed it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure the internal. If it were to happen, hypothetically, the internal front office environment and just everything inside, away from the field with the Tampa Bay Rowdies is going to be. I'm sure it'll be a very interesting experience for me.
Yeah, back then it was just go, 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 go.
Yeah. I imagine it'll be something similar, but no. So I mean. Good week. I think that's a very solid week. Like, it's not a great week because you didn't get the Wednesday dub, but
3
like
clean sheets.
Yeah, I mean, a very, very solid week. Which, by the way, I don't know if Jamali listens to this, but somebody called him out for not having donuts in attendance for the last few shutouts. So, Jamali, if you're listening to this, or if there's anybody that likes donuts that could send donuts to the training facility, I guess Jamali's been slacking on the donuts. Not to call him out, but I was told to call him out, so I guess that's what I'm doing.
That's what you're doing.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah. So I just called him out. Okay. So outside of that, Tampa Bay Rowdies news. We missed it last week, but signed a deal to extend at Al Lang Stadium. So another 1-year deal at Al Lang Stadium. So lock that in for next season. That's where your Tampa Bay Rowdies will be playing, back at home at Al Lang Stadium, which I think is great for everybody. I think that that's, for us internally, it's a nice knowing that, of course. But at the same time, just like knowing that the Rowdies are home, I think where they belong is a good thing to know as well. So that's secured.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it allows us to start planning ahead seriously, like, for next year. I mean, I think it's the 12th season we'll be at Al Lang Stadium for the Rowdies, which is, think about it, we've played more seasons at Attinella and Stadium than the team ever did at Tampa Stadium way back in the 70s and 80s.
So it's starting to feel like home.
Oh, it's definitely
home.
feeling home.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like home. So, and there's so many special memories at Attinella Stadium too when you talk about the way that the teams come back and really the things that have happened on that field and the transformations that it's taken and like the life that it's kind of taken on of its own. And it's obviously like when I was still playing there, we had to smooth out the pitcher's mound because it was still hadn't been fully converted yet.
And the field faced the opposite direction.
Yeah, that field was so short. That was such a bad idea. That was such a bad idea at the time. But so obviously so we're home. We had the Tampa Bay Soccer Hall of Fame, which was a good event. We had some Rowdies legends honored, and it was just a good night where I don't know that you'll ever get that many people in the soccer world in the same room ever again outside of that event every year.
Yeah, I think this is they've done it 2 years now. I've been at both ceremonies. This year, it really struck me how often the Rowdies came up in the speeches that the inductees were giving, whether they had a connection through playing for the team, or Crippen, who was the play-by-play announcer at Tampa Stadium for the Rowdies, Nancy Patel, who's a lifelong Rowdies fan, who's got the Passion Award, but like so many others, like the referees, coaches, players, college players, they all, not all of them maybe, but like so many of them mentioned the Rowdies and like how the Rowdies really brought the sport to Tampa Bay and just like originated everything for the growth of soccer in Tampa Bay.
I don't know that anybody has the time to do this, but like tracking the ripple effect of that group of guys and like what they've done in the soccer community in terms of like players that they've coached, teams that they've coached, or like people that they've impacted in terms of building the game in this area. I mean, it would take a very, very long time to piece that together, but so many people have had such an impact. And I think that the coolest thing about the Hall of Fame is that it's not just like old players getting recognized. It's refs, it's high school coaches, it's guys that like have laid some groundwork for soccer in this community that you might not know their name.
It's an owner like Cornelia Corbett who
saved the Rowdies.
Saved the Rowdies, yeah. Before Tampa Bay Muni came around, there was no pro soccer after the NASL without Cornelia Corbett, who kept the Rowdies alive into the 90s, and then obviously continued to support the sport through USF.
Yeah, I mean the stadium's named after her.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's pretty big.
The whole stadium's named after her. So there's just there's such a ripple effect with the Tampa Bay Rowdies and the impact that they've had in the community that if you do have the opportunity to go to that event, if you are a diehard soccer person or you want to like get to know a little bit more of the history, I go there and learn history. That's something that happens, like because I don't know all the history, I don't know what everybody's talking about in terms of the foundations that's been laid, but there are so many people that have impacted it, and the Rowdies are directly tied to so much of that. That it's just a cool night. Like it's a really cool night honoring a sport in a community that there's been so many people that have paved the way for it, and where we're at now, we're nowhere close to where we were or where we would have been without so many of these people.
Yeah, for sure. If you're a Tampa Bay resident and you love soccer, it's a must-attend event. You have to be there.
Yeah, it almost is a must-attend event. So good job there. I know Perry and Farouk, a couple of Rowdies legends, they put a lot of work into it, and then Charles Gallagher, he's on the board as well. He's a big Rowdies fan. Sean Caligno, I know I got to be missing people. But the board that puts that together, they do such a good job, and I thought that was a great event. So they did a good job with that as well. And then the only question that I had before you bring Conner on is Conner here. Mm-hmm. What up, Conner? All right, we'll have you on in a second, brother. So the one question that I had, because it's like all the buzz right now in the sports world in general, are there any jersey numbers that are retired for the Tampa Bay Rowdies?
Oh, yeah. Mike Connell, number 6, and Perry Vanderbeck, number 12.
Okay, so those are retired.
Yep, okay. That's why their jerseys are on the outfield wall not outfield anymore, but there's a wall behind the goal.
No one wears them.
No one wears
them. Do you know
them.
like all the drama with the Jane Daniels jersey saga that's going on?
Not really, no.
So basically, they told a player, the old head coach of LSU football told Jane Daniels after he won the Heisman that he was going to retire his jersey, while he also told a recruit that was coming in that he could wear Jane Daniels' number.
Nice.
And now like Jane Daniels is like suing the school because there's all this like, and now there's like the memes of like everybody saying that nobody could wear the number 5 or like take number 5 in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, I've seen the memes. Now I understand the memes.
Yeah, so like I was just curious because like the way that I don't know, I feel like I don't know that, not that my jersey would, because I wore a goalie jersey and also like I didn't accomplish enough to get a goalie jersey to get a jersey retired, but like I don't know that I would want my jersey retired.
I've never understood the tradition of retiring numbers. And like when I was a kid growing up and wanting to be a pro athlete who was never ever good enough to be even close to pro sports, but like I always thought it'd be cool like to grow up and like wear your favorite player's number. So,
like honor it.
You like pass it on, and like the next guy up has to like honor that legacy.
Like I like it better where it's like instead of retiring it, it's like no, like we're gonna give this jersey number that means so much because this person wore it. Like we're gonna give it to this guy that we think is gonna be the man. And then like the person that wore it that like did it really well, then they have the opportunity to be like, all right, like let's honor this jersey, like let's respect this number, like this number carries a lot of legacy and there's like a little bit of power behind this number, and like let's like get geared up that way. So I never understood the jersey retirement thing, so that's why I was curious, because it's just like the memes and everything is so funny right now that I just didn't know that we had the potential for that situation.
We do, and if you're gonna retire anybody's number, Mike Connell and Perry Vandenbeck, very deserving.
Yeah, very deserving. I wonder if there's a world where Perry would let that number come back for like, I don't know, any type of player.
I don't know.
Yeah, probably not. We'll ask him in the offseason. That seems like an offseason question. But, okay, so this weekend, the team is going on the road. They're taking on Detroit, another big Eastern Conference game. Obviously, we have a watch party at Colony Grill that you could tune into if you're going to watch it on TV as well. So get down to Colony Grill, support the boys at the watch party. Another big Eastern Conference test. So it's Detroit, then it's Pittsburgh.
Two big tests
on the road. So that's why the 3 points on Saturday were so huge for the group. Of course, Colony Grill, and then we have our first home game. We're back September 5th. So if you want to get those tickets early, rowdysoccer.com for everything. I know it's Labor Day weekend, but it's a beautiful place to take a little bit of vacation.
First time we're hosting Brooklyn FC.
There you go. First time we're facing Brooklyn FC. So there you go. That's reason enough to come and watch this best team that's in the USL right now. So we're going to have Conner Antley on, talk to him. Do we miss anything?
No, I think we're good.
Think we're good?
Yeah.
All right, we're good. So Conner Antley, jumping on the podcast, rowdysoccer.com for everything that you need. And if you were at Attinella Stadium this week, especially Wednesday, Saturday, Saturday, the crowd was electric. We had an honorary captain out there that said he was going to buy season tickets because he had such a good experience. So if you're getting captivated by coming down to Attinella Stadium, make sure you keep coming down because it's about to start getting really fun at Attinella Stadium. Bringing on Conner Antley next. Thanks for tuning in. Conner Antley, thanks for jumping on the pod, and welcome back to Tampa, man.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So I have a couple questions just from Saturday. One, I was curious, how does a center back find himself in a position on the edge of the six during the run of play to stroke that ball into the corner?
Listen, sometimes the game opens up. The ball got played out to Dion on the right side, and Dom, I've been talking all week about making forward runs. I didn't see anyone making a forward run, so I thought I might as well get in the box, and he slipped me through, and then you saw the rest. So it was a good play, and I was happy to score. Believe it or not, my first goal for the club. I've got too many appearances to be my first goal, but it was a great night.
Well, to be fair, like usually a center back scores goals off of crosses or off of like
corner
kicks or free kicks.
Yeah.
Not usually, a nice little cutback on the side of the box, stroking it in from the corner. So to be fair, I think that's kind of like fair play.
No, I agree. I feel like I need to get in the box more now.
Yeah, right. Next thing you know, all the scouting reports are going to be like Antley will bomb forward.
Right
from
side center back. Watch him in the box.
Watch his left foot.
He's going to play the ball to the number 9 and continue his overlapping run so that he can get himself involved.
Exactly.
But no, man. So like, I'm curious as well. Like we talked about, that's your first goal with the Rowdies, and obviously I'm sure there's emotions involved with you coming back to the club and being on loan here, and we'll dive into that a little bit more. But just for you, and you're talking about the ride that it's kind of been since you left the Rowdies to come back in this fashion and get that goal and understanding where the team's at and the impact that goal has. Like, what does that mean for you personally?
Yeah, I've got chills. Like right now, you just kind of talking about it because I played for this club for several years, and I love it here. I love this club. This club means a lot to me, and leaving for DC was actually really hard. A lot of people think like, oh, you were going to the MLS, like that's like a really great jump for you, which it was for my career, but I don't think a lot of people understand, how difficult it was to leave a place like this. My one of my daughters was born here. My wife absolutely loved it here, and life outside of soccer is so important as well. So we were just kind of so rooted. We had great friends here. It was just a community that we loved being a part of, and we loved just Saturdays at Al Lang were just the thing. My brother and his wife ended up moving down here, so when we left, it was tough.
Like bittersweet almost.
It was bittersweet, yeah. It was something that we were really excited about, but also really sad about having to leave, a lot of the friends and the community that we had built here. And, I was comfortable in a good way here in Tampa. You know, I was comfortable in a way that like I was excited to show up to work every day. You know, Neil was our coach at the time, or I guess it was Robbie Nielsen, I think, was my coach when I found out I was going to DC. Yeah. But it was, you know, you're showing up to work and you're just hungry. You want to fight every day. You know what the badge means. You know what wearing the jersey means. And so, yeah, it was bittersweet to leave, you know, especially when I get to DC, right? And I start playing in some games. I starting a couple matches, and then 8 games in, I tear my ACL. And I'm like, man, this is horrible. You know, I've left one of the best places on the planet, you know, a club that I love, I care about, and I come up here and then I start playing in games. Everything's going great, and then I tear my ACL, and that was really, really tough. You know, fast forward through that, and I finally get back to playing. And then, you know, this year the opportunity to come down here on loan, you know, came about. And, you know, I talked to my wife about it, and she was like, let's go, let's do it. And I was, you know.
Bags were packed.
Bags were packed. We were packed, ready to go before everything was finalized. Like we were eating takeout for a couple of days because we had nothing in the fridge.
Like, I'm not going grocery
right,
shopping.
Yeah, no,
like,
yeah.
No, we're not going to lose any of this food.
Yeah, we were willing it to happen. And I remember when Nico shot me the text, he said, hey, get on the road. You know, it's done. And, you know, it was a long drive to get down here. I drove, my family and my kids flew, but, you know, the drive didn't seem too bad when you're driving towards something that you're, like, really excited about. So, yeah, getting down here was great. You know, I have my family here with me. And then, you know, Saturday night against Rhode Island was just, I don't know. I think it was everything that I kind of pictured it would be. You know, I like I mentioned, I love playing for this club so much, and I love playing at Al Lang, and then being able to get my first goal with the club on Saturday night just made it seem like everything was worth it. You know, like it's been a long road, it's been a long journey, and then just coming back, it was just I had a lot of family in town too that came for the game, so being able to kind of celebrate that with them afterwards was everything.
There's so many things I want to peel back from everything that you just said there because there's so many good nuggets in there. But I think that one of the things that is cool as well was. So we go to your first game at Orange County, right? Your first, like, really welcome back to the club. We're at this watch party at Ferg's. The amount of fans that were coming up to me, and they were like, bro, Antley's back. Like, giving me, like, a weird look, like, bro, Antley's back. Like, I'm like, so excited about this. And I was just like, nice, man. Like, I'm glad, you know, I'm pumped for you. And they were just like, kept coming up to me all night. They're like, bro, Antley's back. So I'm like, all right, bro. Like, good. We got a fan favorite back. We got somebody back that, like, obviously, like, I wasn't on top of the Rowdies as much in those 2021 years and like the years that you were here. Like obviously I knew that they were very successful and like I followed in the playoffs and things like that. But like for the fans to be coming up to me and just like literally singling me out and just like staring me dead in the eyes and like getting me fired up about it. I was like, oh, you must have represented the club. You must have been a good representation.
I don't know. I think with the fans, like not only I think my style, the way I play, I think my style of play, like the fans like love like a high energy, you know, aggressive type player, you know, and I think. You know, they enjoyed watching that in the field, but as well, like after the games, I try to really make a point to go around to the fans and make sure like I see, you know, everyone that I can, sign as many autographs as I can, you know, and try to make an impression on those kids. You know, I can't even tell you how many times, even after Saturday night, where a parent or even a kid themselves has DM'd me on Instagram or whatever and just said, hey, like, I really appreciate you taking that 5 seconds to sign my son's ball or whatever it may be. You know, for me, it's like, you know, I'm really happy to do it and I love like connecting with the kids in the community, but like to them it's everything, you know, for that kid. So that's kind of the mindset that I try to attack that with. But yeah, I got to see a lot of people at Al Lang Saturday night that I haven't seen in years, a long time. And it just brings me joy to like kind of be connected with those people and, you know, get to represent the club again.
And I think that's something like I've been kind of beating this drum as well. It's like that's something that's unique about the Rowdies in Al Lang Stadium that you don't really get at that MLS level.
Oh,
like
no.
You don't get that same type of connection the way that you're able to do that here and impact the way that you can.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think with just how unique the venue is, you know, at Al Lang, like it's just such a beautiful backdrop. I think it's such an event to come to on the weekends for people that, you know, they might not realize it until they come to a game, but then when they come to a home game and they're like, man, this is awesome. You know, like I had somebody come to the game Saturday night for the first time and they were like, man, if I lived here, like take my money. Like I want to be here. Like
they do take
awesome.
our money. They do take our money.
I was like, take my money. I would be a season ticket holder if I lived here. And it's, yeah, you're right. I think it's that environment that's just created, by the club and just being at Al Lang. And I think the players try to do a great job connecting with everyone. It's something, you're right, that you don't really get as much at the MLS level. We're more kind of separated, I think, from the fans. Like, we don't really get to go over to them as much and talk to them as much. I feel like still, even at the MLS level, I try to make a point to go around and speak to as many fans as I can, even though it is a little bit more difficult. But, that's just something that I'm passionate about, I think, myself. And I think that also, I have young kids, so I know
that plays a big,
I think that has a big role in it as well. Like, I know my daughter, she looks up to a lot of different female athletes. And so I think, if they were to give her the time of day, I just know what that would mean to her. So for me, it makes it easy.
How old are your kids?
I have a 6-year-old, a daughter who just turned 6,
okay,
and then a 3-year-old. So 6-year-old girl, 3-year-old girl, and then a 2-year-old little boy.
Oh, nice, you're busy.
So I got my hands full, man.
Yeah, and everyone's down. So you're able to keep.
Yeah, everyone's here.
Oh,
everyone's here. Yeah, my. I was telling Dom today, actually, my off days look a little different than these other guys that may be single. I'm not going home and taking a nap. No,
you're going home to work.
No, I'm going. Yeah, exactly. I got a harder job at the house waiting for me. So it's great though. I wouldn't have it any other way.
It is funny though when you become a dad compared to when you're like not a father when you're playing, and then it's like, oh, I get to go to practice. Thank God.
Yeah, right. It's like you know what? I might leave a little earlier for training today.
I gotta get babe, a little treatment.
Yeah, babe, I got treatment. Hamstring.
Those massages, the massages you get, like especially post practice, where you're like, oh, I gotta stick around and get treatment.
Not getting home till 2 or 3.
Yeah, you're like, what took so long? The hamstrings were killing me. I need a little extra. The time in the ice tub goes by. You take a little bit more time in the ice bath than you might have done.
Some guys don't get it. Some guys get it, and it's definitely a difference when you got kids. So
how's it been? Obviously, like your wife loved it here, right, and then now you're bringing the kids into the environment. How's it been for them? Like, how's the family been enjoying it? And is it just like a nice little long vacation that you're proposing, or
no? Yeah, well. It's been great. Obviously, when I first mentioned my wife, like, hey, how would you feel about me going on loan to Tampa? And I think as soon as those words came out of my mouth, she started packing, right? And my kids, so my daughter Ava, my oldest, she was practically the first 3 years of her life were here in Tampa. So she grew up in the pool every day. We went to the beach all the time. Like, she knows what St. Pete life can be about. Whereas Ella and Luca, this is new territory for them. Like, this is like, we've only been down here 2 weeks, and I think we've been to the beach to watch the sunset like 7 times.
That's amazing.
Like, we love to grab like a pub sub and go watch the sunset. We don't go out there when it's peak sun. That's just too much. But we like to go around like 7 o'clock. We like to go out there, maybe eat dinner, and then watch the sunset. That's like our favorite time of day. But watching Ella and Luca thrive in like that environment of being able to just kind of run around on the beach or like get in the ocean or get in the pool whenever we want is really great. Because where we live at now up in Virginia, pools don't open until like 12 o'clock and then they close at like 6. And, obviously I'm not going to St. Pete Beach or Treasure Island up there, So sometimes when we're up there, I feel like I'm robbing my kids of their childhood by not having them down here anymore, like, because they love to be outside. Like, they love to be outside, and I feel bad because 6 months out of the year up there too, it's freezing cold. You can't go outside very much. So, anyways, when we had the opportunity to come down here, we were really, really stoked about it. Whether it's for a short amount of time or for longer, we'll see. But for now, we're just happy to be here.
Dude, I don't know you very well at all, but like just from a dad perspective and like from a player perspective, how cool is it for you to get the experience of like, this is really a place that meant a lot to me, and you don't know that you're gonna get like have your kids experience that. You don't know that you're gonna get that total package of experience with your kids.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool is that for you as a dad and as a player to be like, this is a place that I love.
Yeah, this is a place that Hannah, my wife, and I talk about it all the time. Where it's like whenever I do retire and end up done playing, we would love to plant roots here and live here long term. We really do love it here so much, but I think being able to experience it with my kids is everything. Because when I was here in 21, 22, 23, Ava was the only one kind of like after games would run out to me on the field and give me a hug. Whereas like Saturday night, I had all 3 of my kids running out to me like to give me a hug on the field, which is everything. Like that it means everything to me. Having them being able to watch me play and my 2 daughters, they were telling me after the game, like after I scored, they were like, Daddy, like I started crying, and I was like, why? They were like, oh, it was so loud. they just don't understand. But it's I don't know. I think I think for me, like that's what matters to me most is like my experiences with my kids. And so, you know, being able to experience something that I'm so passionate about, which is soccer and the Rowdies, and getting to share that with them is everything.
Dude, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
No, seriously, seriously. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, for you to get those memories with your kids, and this is like a moment in time, I feel like it's going to be something that's really impactful for your family. And
Yeah.
that's cool, man. And you scored a goal
I know.
and you scored a banger.
They don't even know either. I have no idea what I did.
No,
but-
we're gonna clip that, dude. You're gonna clip that thing and run the highlight over and over again later in life.
Right. I know. I'm gonna show them one day. They're gonna be like, "Oh, I was there at that game." But they love. I mean, that was Ellen Luca's first time ever at Outlang. They were, you know, blown away. It's a little like, once again, it's a little different than MLS. Like in an MLS, you're kind of tucked away in a suite maybe somewhere where it's like a lot quieter, whereas like at Outlang, you're in it. Like you're in the bowl, the supporter group's right there, you know. It is louder, which is awesome. So,
and everything's so intimate.
It's
Everything at
unbelievable.
Outlang is so intimate.
Right
Like,
there.
you can have thousands of people there, but everything just feels like, I don't know, it just all feels like a tight, like,
Man, you don't have to
close-
explain it to me. I try to explain this feeling to everyone else that I talk to about this place, because they think I'm crazy when I talk about St. Pete. And I tell people all the time, I was like, look, you just got to go down there and experience it for yourself to like really get an understanding of what it's like. It genuinely is different.
When you're in the stadium and you're just looking out on the water, it just feels like it's just the stadium, and
I know.
like that there's
I know.
nothing else around you.
It makes my heart happy to think about Outlang and playing there. It really does. Like, it brings me joy. That's
Dude,
it.
we're gonna cut and paste these and use it as marketing for the rest of the year. I've been trying to tell people the same thing, man. Like, I tell people all the time, I'm like, I don't take this job if you don't walk out of that dugout and see Outlang Stadium for what it is, because like people need to understand how truly unique and special it is in the world of soccer.
I think it's got to be like one of the best venues in North American soccer. It's just iconic in my opinion. Like, the palm trees in the background, the boats back there, like the sun setting on the other side. It's just, once again, you just got to come check it out, experience it, like to really understand what I'm talking about. The energy is different. Like,
you can't talk it into existence. You just have to see it. You have to see it. You have to experience it.
I tell you, when we were first down here, my brother and his wife, they lived back in Georgia at the time, and they would come down because, like, also when you play here and you live here, you know, a lot of family come to visit because it's a great place to come visit, you know. Whereas like we moved up to Virginia, I've seen my family twice. I've been there for 2.5 years. I've seen them twice. We moved down here; they're all here the first weekend we got a home game. So they, when I was back here in 2021 and 2022, they came down so many times. They were like, "We got to move here," and so they ended up moving here, and they've lived here ever since. He works in downtown St. Pete. And they will die here. They absolutely love it. And, you know, they still come to Rowdies games even though I'm not on the team. But when they were thrilled as well to find out we were coming on loan, because they love my kids. They love, you know, obviously just being close to family is different. So they, you know, they threw back on their Rowdies jerseys and they were at the game Saturday night. It was great.
Dude, I'm so happy for you, and it has nothing to do with soccer. Like, seriously, like, I'm so happy. Dude, I'm so happy for you that you're back. Like, it has literally nothing to do with soccer. Like, that's such a cool experience for you, man. It's cool. Not everybody gets to experience stuff like that, so that's really cool, man. So you're at Orange County.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to walk this back just a little bit, and we're going to go further back because I want to talk about your time in D.C. as well. Okay. So you're in Orange County. You put the jersey on. You're about to get on the field. What's kind of going through your head? Is it like this jersey feels like home? This jersey feels natural. Like this feels like, you know, where I'm supposed to be. Is there like a little bit of added nerves because of all the things that you have going on, or what's that feeling like?
So I think, man, I couldn't have had a more welcome back to the USL trip than Orange County because goodness
you can go from
gracious,
Tampa.
you're talking.
You're living the MLS high life. You're living the post-COVID MLS high life over there.
Forget about these, you know, driving up on the tarmac, chartered flights with your own food, and you get your own rows, sleeping. None of that. I'm sitting in 36F, in middle seat. I'm sitting there. We connecting through Denver. I think I almost retired in Denver, and we finally get to Orange County. And look, it's. I think for me, and I think the reason why it was an easy decision, I think for Dom and Nico as well, is because I am very familiar with the USL, and the USL is not easy, you know, in terms of travel, in terms of playing in some tough locations. You know, our next two games in Detroit and Pittsburgh are two places I'm really familiar with. And so I think when you do bring in a player on loan, you want to bring in someone, I think, who has experience in these situations, has experience playing in games in these stadiums, and kind of knows just the familiarity of the league, of these teams you're going up against. And so when we got to Orange County, I've played there before. And I knew I wasn't, going to start. I knew I was going to get in at some capacity. Wasn't sure what that would be, but I've always come in with the mindset of whatever the team needs. The team's doing great. I'm really just trying my best not to mess up everyone else. Like, these guys are killing it right now. I want to just try to add on to that any way I can. And so, yeah, when I got my name called and I go to put the jersey on, I think it was a familiar feeling of I was really excited in that moment, to be honest with you. I was really excited to just get back on the field and compete. I haven't played that many games in MLS earlier this year, and so kind of throwing that jersey on, being able to compete in a game is something that I've missed a lot. And for a club that I love, so much, it meant everything to me. So whether it was, I don't care if it was 2 minutes or 25 minutes, it was great. And I think it was a perfect game for me. We were already up 2-0. It was a perfect game for me to kind of get in the game, get my feet wet a little bit, get playing. And then we ended up scoring a third goal, and it was just a great night, great win. And yeah, it was probably everything I could ask for. And, I wish it would have been at Al Lang, but it's okay. It was a long trip back on Sunday too. It's a long flight home. I think we left at the airport at like 7 a.m. and I didn't get back to my house until 8 p.m. So
yeah, welcome back.
Lost a whole day. Welcome back to USL.
Welcome back, brother. But I think too, like, there's something to be said about the idea that, like, you played for the Rowdies in some of the most successful years that the Rowdies have had. And I don't know how much you know about this, but obviously, like, it's a new team that they've put together. They're having a ton of success. And one of the emphases that Dom has had throughout the course of the year was, like, before the season even started, he brought back guys from 75, from 2012, from the 2021 team to talk to the group about what it means to honor the history of the Rowdies and the way that you're playing, and really just give, like, that, like, mindset of, like, no, like, this is the standard. So I think that with the way that your style of playing, center back that likes to bomb forward, but then also when you add in the fact that it's like, dude, you know what it's like to win here, and you know how important it is, you know how to win here. So I think that's a big part of it too.
Yeah, I think that was a big conversation that Dom and I had before I even came down here, was, the kind of setting the expectation. And I told him, I said, look, I know that there's pressure that comes along with wearing the jersey. And I think pressure is a privilege. And I think it's something that is not taken lightly here at this club. So I knew what I was stepping into. Like you said, I was a part of some really successful years here, and I think Dom is a coach that he holds a high standard, I think, for everyone around. And so for me, I was dying to kind of get back to feel that pressure. I haven't felt that pressure in a minute, and I love DC and I love DC United, but for the past couple of years, the MO there has been not win very many games and not make playoffs. So to get back here and to feel that pressure and to feel that, I want that feeling like that. I want that on my back. Like I want that. So I told Dom, I said, look, I think for me, I understand what it means to wear that jersey, and I don't think you'll find anyone in the league, in MLS, USL, that is going to want to come there and fight for that jersey more than me. So he obviously had some internal conversations with some guys as well. Like, obviously Leo's a part of the club still. Jan Ecker's around, guys that I played with. Dabo, who's been at the club for 1,000 games. And so I think they shared a little bit about, because I don't know Dom, I just met Dom, when I got here. And so I think they shared a bit about me and who I am and the type of player I am and my mentality. And so I think Dom was just like, look, I think it makes perfect sense. And it's been great to be back, man.
I think that like, after talking to Dom a ton and understanding the way he wants to shape his team, like, if you were sitting down for that situation in a job interview, you literally said every right word.
Yeah. Listen, our phone call did go really well. I mean, I told him too. I was like, look, I'm not coming down with any expectation of starting. I don't come down. You don't have to play me. I'm coming down. I want to compete. I want to make people around me better. And I think, Dom's seen that in me. So yeah, we've Dom and I've hit it off pretty well, I think, and hopefully just continue to build on that, and we'll see where things go.
You're the man, dude. So we go. Seriously, like everything you're saying is like perfect, bro. You're the man. So you talk about obviously like time with the Rowdies, and then you do make the leap to DC United, and that's a big decision. Like it's not. To your point, like a lot of people say that it's just like an easy decision to make if an MLS team comes calling.
Yeah.
It's not always the easiest decision because you want the right situation, you want the right thing for your family, you have a lot of different things to consider.
So much.
So you go up to DC United, and obviously like the injury, like that sucks. Like and injuries happen, but that's part of the. But like in terms of your growth and development as a player, and really just like what the experience in DC United has been to you thus far.
Yeah.
Like, what's kind of your overview of how that's been?
Yeah, great questions. I think when we first left here, my wife was also 8 months pregnant at the time. It was extremely difficult. You know, you're going up to a new city, new club, new staff.
8 months pregnant?
8 months pregnant.
Yeah.
Dude. She was 8 months pregnant.
Things like that always happen at
and
like
we're
the craziest
like,
family
she
times.
had she was like, we obviously had our doctors down here that we loved. And so I'm married to the best woman in the world because for her, she packed up our whole home in like 3 days. We found out on a Wednesday. Robbie Nielsen pulled me out of training on a Wednesday and said, hey, you need to go talk to Nico. We've agreed to a transfer agreement for you to go to DC United.
I was waiting for you at Media Day.
And
I
said, yeah, it was the day of Media Day. I
was
just got a haircut. Fresh cut. I'm about to head down to Media Day.
Good timing.
Nico's like,
yeah, right?
Connor's not going to make it.
I'm about to head down to Media Day to take all my photos for the year coming up. And then I go upstairs and talk to Nico, and he's like, yeah, that's not happening. And I said, well, what's going on? He's like, call your agent. So I go call my agent, and he's like, hey, look, this is happening quick. Like, DC is over in Saudi Arabia right now, finishing up preseason. And I'm like, what am I hearing right now? Like I'm about to go down to the Trop. Let me just go to the Trop and take my photos. Like, he goes, no. So, and then I found that out, right? And then I ended up just driving home. I didn't call my wife. I got home, and I sit down and I tell her, and she looks back at me. She's like, let's do it. Like, let's go. Yeah, and I'm like,
roll dog.
Sure? Like, are you sure? And so we, that was Wednesday. We packed everything up Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we were on a plane Sunday to DC, and we get there, and like I said, new team, new staff, new everything, new environment, and you know, I don't care who you are. You know, when you're stepping into a new club like that, especially when you're going up a level to MLS, like there's definitely a level of you're just uncomfortable. You know, it takes a minute to find your bearings and you know to just get comfortable in the situation that you're in, and so. That was a lot to go through because I remember we landed in DC on Sunday and then we left. We had a preseason game. Our last preseason game was that following weekend. We left on a Thursday, flew to Dallas, and I hadn't played a game since our season ended with the Rowdies the year before. So it had been like 4 months. And the coach there at DC at the time, Troy Lassagne, looks at me. He's like, hey, you good to play 45 minutes? I said, yeah, like 45 minutes, no problem. I got that in me. We get to halftime. He's like, hey, like you got another 15 in you? I said, yeah, I can go 15. 90 minutes later, I'm dying on the field. And he's like, hey, like, great game, man. Like, you were great. And I think it took me like 4 days to fully recover. Like, I hadn't played in so long. My legs were toast. But obviously, like, you know, you make it to the MLS and you're just giving everything you have to try to, like, make a name for yourself. And so anyways, season starts and everything's going great. I'm finally like make my way into the team, starting game after game, and then I man, crazy. We have an away game in Atlanta. I'm from Atlanta. I've got like 60 people there that I have family, friends. You know, everyone that I know is there in Atlanta watching me play. I'm coming off a little bit of a calf injury, so I don't start the game. I get subbed in at halftime, and in the 92nd minute, I go out to press one of their wingers and plant it wrong and tear my ACL in the 92nd minute. And I knew something was wrong, didn't know quite what it was. Go back to the locker room. Doctor looks at me. He's like, hey, I think you've torn your ACL. So I'm the type of guy, I don't really get emotional about those types of things, to be honest with you. I'm the type like, hey, all right, when can we get surgery? Like, let's get this going, you know? And so we had surgery a week later, and my road to recovery was long. You know, I'm a very impatient person. So, you know, that was like, you know, I was taught a lot of patience through that process. But finally got back last year, you know, got back like midway through the season and ended up playing like 16 games to end the year, which was great. And, you know, and then this year, you know, we get a new coach. You know, things are going well. He actually really likes me a lot. His name's Renee. I really like Renee. But I think for me, like what made sense for us was for me to get match fit, get some minutes, and come on loan here to Tampa. But sorry, I know that was a lot. I don't even remember what the
keep
question
ripping,
was.
bro.
No, but it was just
keep ripping, dude.
so yeah. It just made sense for me to come down here, and like there were before that though, there were a lot of teams who had reached out to try to get me on loan, and I had told my agent, I was like, look, if I'm going to go on loan to USL, like there's only one club I'm going to, because there are like some great teams, in the league, and he was like, okay, like we'll see, what happens. And I think Tampa was kind of going through a little bit of a lull. Obviously had some injuries as well, and some defensive positions. And they reached out. When was this? This would have been mid-July, and I was injured at the time. I had an ankle injury, and my agent was like, hey, look, he's injured. Like he can't come. And he was like, if you can wait till August, like till the beginning of August, like he's yours. He'll come. And so I had to finish all my check marks with DC to get healthy, and they waited, and Dom was like, look, we turned down a lot of players, and we waited for you, and so we're really excited to get you down here. So I knew, like, for me, I was really excited about coming here because I knew that they wanted me here. I think that's a big deal too, is like, I tell young players this all the time, whether they're committing to college or, to a pro team or whatever. It's like, go where you're most wanted. And so I felt like Dom really wanted me here. He was patient. He turned down a lot of players, I think, to wait for me to get healthy. And so now I'm here, and I don't think, I think since I've gotten here, we haven't, not that it has anything to do with me at all, but we haven't conceded a goal since I've gotten here. So hopefully we can keep that going. And then obviously to be able to contribute on the offensive side as well is like, just a icing on the cake.
There's so much to be learned through that time that you're injured, though.
Yeah. Oh my
gosh.
What I mean?
Yeah. Like, I think that's something that a lot of people don't. And plus, too, like, dude, I could talk to you for hours about all this stuff, and we'll wrap it up eventually. But like, I think that there's so many things in your process and in your story that you could take away from it, right? So it's like you go through this process, you get traded to DC, and there's so many different things that people don't think about from a player perspective. Where like, you just move to this team, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, it's amazing! Congratulations, it's awesome! Like, great!"
Right.
Dude, you got a pregnant wife, you have a family at home,
Yeah.
You have all these different things that are on your mind all the time.
At the same time, trying to train,
trying to
impress
move up
the
a
coaches,
level.
right? And trying to do that. And you're right. There was so much on my plate, and thankfully, I had a coaching staff that understood that. They knew that, obviously,
and that's huge.
And it was huge. It was
That's
a big
huge.
deal because, yeah, you're right. It's a big deal. Troy Lesane is a really good coach in that sense, in the terms of like he really understood my situation and where I was at, and he knew that he was like, hey, look, like, if you need to take care of something at the house, if you need an extra day, let me know. You're good. Like, I know you got a lot going on, because like we had, this was our third. So all three of my kids are born in different states. Ava was actually born in Indiana. Ella was born here in St. Pete, and then Luca was born in Virginia. And we had a lot. Like we didn't have a place to live yet when we were moving up there. Like, there were so many things that we had to do, and it was so stressful. I'm shocked my wife didn't go into labor while that was happening. We got moved into our townhome, and 3 days later she gave birth. So it was crazy. But you're right, it's a lot. I think for me, one of the I think characteristics that I'll take with me for the rest of my life, like, is just is gratefulness. Because when I was here in the USL, like, things, like, especially years ago, I think it's gotten better now, but years ago, road trips were really, harder than they are now. Like, the food quality, whether it be on away trips or whatever, cannot be that great. And so when I got to the MLS, I was like,
Yeah, just live it.
I was like, hold on.
Yeah,
I'll never forget. We got our first away trip, and we get to dinner that night at the hotel. And keep in mind, these are like ridiculous hotels,
Yeah.
okay? And we get to the
Where was your first road trip?
Columbus.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we get to Columbus.
And that's
and-
not even one of the best ones.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's
But
not
dude,
even close.
listen. We walked down. I walked down for dinner, and it took everything in me to like not get my phone out and just like record like the spread of food that was going around. Like, I just wanted to like take this in, and you know what's even crazier? And I'll say this, but there are still people who are ungrateful, that like still want more of like I don't know. Some of these guys are making just absolutely crazy, money, and they just aren't happy with the food. And I'm looking at it like, oh my gosh, like
It's all about perspective.
all about perspective, really. So I think, ever since, and now, even when I'm in DC now, like I still have that, perspective of gratefulness, because like I do know what it's like to grind through like the lower levels of. I mean, I started in the PDL, and then I went to League One, and then in the championship, and so I know what it's like, and so when I am given something that's like a little bit greater or a little bit more, it's I'm thankful for that, and I'm like, man, like this is amazing. I appreciate it so much differently than I think guys who haven't maybe been through the USL or lower leagues.
It's so funny. I always joke about this because when I was in MLS, I was on, the union boards, and you're in those conversations and you're fighting and you're doing all these things.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we always fought for were charter flights.
Yeah.
We're we want charter flights, and they're no, can't afford it, can't do all these things, no chance, whatever.
Yeah.
COVID hits.
Right.
They started doing a little bit of charter flights, and then all of a sudden it's we're never once you put us on a charter flight, it was I'm never going back. You're never going to get them back on another flight.
I think that's the question I get most often since I went from USL to MLS is well, Conner, what's the biggest difference, And I think for me, the travel is the number one biggest difference between MLS and USL in terms of treatment. It's I'll play a game. We'll play a game in Columbus at 7:30, and I'll be in my bed at 12:30. I'll be out just past midnight. I'll be back home and in my bed. Being able to wake up on a Sunday with my family. It's you finish the game, you're on the plane, you're back home. It's just unbelievable.
The one thing that I will tell you you're missing out on.
I know.
The one thing you're missing out on though is they don't get the nights out. They don't get the nights out on the town in the different cities.
So guys that have been in the MLS for a long time, they do tell me about that. Is some of the cities we go to, whether it's Austin or Toronto or Vancouver, say the nights out, they do miss that sometimes, which is a good thing about the USL sometimes.
Yeah,
especially after a win. After a win, if you're in a decent little city, go out, get a drink if you're old enough with the guys. That is fun. But I will say, when you have a wife and 3 kids back home, then sometimes it's nice to.
Yeah, you don't get the free pass for the night. You don't get the free pass as much. That's funny, man. All right, so we'll wrap up. I mean, we usually wrap up with talk to the fans about what this team is, what the club means to you. But you've covered that at nauseum, which is awesome. It's great. It's amazing, dude. Having you back is awesome.
Thank you.
What has been your one? I want to ask 2 questions.
Okay.
Have you had a welcome to the MLS experience? And then 2, what is your favorite venue that you've played at with your time in DC?
I think my welcome to the MLS experience was, I'm going to say 2. I'm going to say the first one was when our first home game, DC United, we were playing at home versus New England Revolution. I'm sitting on the bench. It's freezing cold. My toes are frozen, and I go down to warm up. And at halftime, when the second half starts, subs go warm up, and I get my number called in the 70th minute. He's like, "Hey, we're gonna throw you in, right?" 70th minute, I get subbed in, and I think 6 minutes later, I get a header assist to Benteke, and he scored and for the game-winning goal, which was unbelievable. I'm sitting here. I was in St. Pete, ready to go to the trot for media day 3 weeks ago. Now I'm assisting balls to Benteke, in DC. So that was unbelievable. And then I think another one was a couple weeks later was my first MLS start, which was in St. Louis City. And I don't know if you've ever been there, but they're a newer franchise. Yeah, they're a newer franchise, and they have one of the most unbelievable home environments that I've ever played in ever. It was loud in there, and I remember that being the first time I'd been nervous, I think, in a while. It was just man, okay, this is it. You gotta step. You gotta either put up or shut up. And it was a good game. We ended up tying, but those two moments for me were just all right, we're here, let's do it. So.
St. Louis, coolest place you played?
Oh, best place I've played? No, I think the best place I've played was Cincinnati. That's where I got my first MLS goal. So I think Cincinnati, in my opinion, is the best field, best venue, best stadium in MLS. And so being able to play there was pretty, and also score a goal was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, brother. Dude, great conversation, man. It's awesome to have you back. I know the fans are fired up. I'm just happy for you as a human. And then obviously keep scoring goalazos, because that'd be sweet too if you keep scoring goalazos.
I had one question that was
Yeah, fire away, Jake.
Talk to me.
So Conner, we've already mentioned you're one of the guys from the 2021 team that won the Players' Shield. You know Lewis, you know Lawrence, you know Marco from your time in Tormenta.
Yeah.
Coming in 2 weeks now with the group, what is your impression of this group? What can you say about what excites you about this group, and are there any parallels from that 2021 team that fans should be excited about?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think so. I was last week before we played. It would have been before. So this past week, it would have been before the Louisville game on Wednesday. It was a Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. We were doing some set pieces, and Maxie was taking set pieces. He's like 6 foot. I think he's like 6'2" or something, 6'3" maybe, taking set pieces out there, corner kicks. And we're not. I don't think the Rowdies have the biggest team, right? And so he takes a few corner kicks, and then he comes and stands with me. I'm at the top of the box, and I'm like, man, you're like 6'3". Like, what are you doing taking corner kicks out there? And he looks back at me and he goes, I'm a soldier. He's like, I do whatever the team needs. And I was like, are you? He had me fired up. I was like, are you serious? That's the mentality? That's what we're talking about right now? I said, that's unbelievable. I've been waiting for Dom to give me the team talk before a game because I want to tell this story because that is the mentality of the group is they are soldiers. And I think that when you're going to go play against Detroit this weekend and you're about to go to Pittsburgh, you need soldiers. Like, you need soldiers. And I think, that type of killer mentality, it's like, look, I don't care who we're playing. I don't care where we're at. I don't care what my role is. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, and that's what you're going to get from me because that's what soldiers do. And I just thought, like, when he said that, I was like, man, like, all right, this team is built for it. And I think when I think back to those 2020, 2021, 2022 teams, I think those teams were built for the big games. I really do. I think we had the players for the big games. Like, when you think back to, like, even the Sebastian Dalgards, obviously Leo, the Sebastian Guenzati, Steven Dos Santos, J.J. Williams, like big boys that we were dogs. And I think this team has that same mentality, that same fight. So I think, man, the fans should be hopeful. I think that, I've brought in a few guys on loan to help with a few injuries, but man, like, what I've been able to see and hear from these guys has fired me and reignited the fire in me even more to be like, all right, soldiers, all right, I got you a soldier right here. I'm coming, brother. And so no, I think that's like my message is like, man, you got like 20 something soldiers out there that'll fight and kill anybody that tries to get in our way. And hopefully we're hosting a championship at Al Lang, maybe against Sacramento or something. Maybe against Neil and Sac. I'm just kidding. We'll see.
Love that. No, I think you're someone that the fans obviously respect. So, like, I think that perspective that you come in and what you see of this team is really important.
Yeah. Great question.
You good? You good? Hell yeah, man. Dude. All right, rowdysoccer.com for everything. Cue the music. Great interview. Tune in. Conner, bro. Welcome back, man. You're the man. Great conversation. Appreciate you coming in, brother.
Thanks,
and
guys.
give your family our best, dude. That's awesome. The whole experience is awesome for you, dude.
Yeah.
Love it.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.